Have you ever had one of those days where you feel like you're running on a treadmill? You're constantly busy, you're exhausted by the end of it, but you're not actually productive? Well, there's a really powerful tool that can fix that, and it comes from a pretty unexpected place. It's called the Eisenhower Matrix. So here's what we're going to cover. First, we'll dive into something called the urgency trap. It's this psychological glitch that keeps us busy but not productive. Then, we'll look at a simple but brilliant insight from a US president that totally changed the game for time management. After that, we'll break down the 4-box solution he came up with. I'll show you exactly how to use it, and we'll wrap up with one simple, smart move you can make today to take back control of your time. All right, let's kick things off with the urgency trap. This is a big one, because it's something we all fall into, and it's really the root cause of that feeling of being exhausted but not feeling accomplished. I mean, does this sound familiar? You're jumping from email to meeting, you're checking off all these little things from your to-do list, but at 5 p.m., that one big important project, it's sitting right where you left it this morning. That feeling has a name. Some people call it fake progress. You're definitely moving, but you're not actually moving forward. And you know what? There's a scientific reason for this. A 2018 study actually identified something called the mere urgency effect. It turns out we have this built-in psychological bias to go after tasks with a ticking clock, even if the reward is tiny, instead of tackling the more important stuff that could have a huge impact. It's like our brains are wired to mistake what's loud for what's important, and it totally sabotages our long-term goals. So, the real question is, how do we fight back against our own brains? Well, the answer comes from a pretty surprising place: a 5-star general who became a US president, Dwight D. Eisenhower. In a speech back in 1954, Eisenhower dropped this absolute gem of an insight. This one sentence: "This is the key to escaping that urgency trap." It forces you to stop and ask, is this task actually important, or is it just screaming for my attention right now? And that brings us to the two concepts we have to pull apart. Urgent tasks are all about time. They demand our attention right now. Think of them as fires you have to put out. But important tasks, those are all about impact. They're the things that move you closer to your big, long-term goals. The secret to real productivity is realizing that these two things are very rarely the same. So, taking that one simple idea, Eisenhower developed an incredibly simple but powerful tool to visualize his priorities. And this is how he built what we now know as the Eisenhower Matrix. And here it is. It's just a simple 4-box grid. On one axis, you've got urgent and not urgent. And on the other, you've got important and not important. This creates 4 quadrants, and each one tells you exactly what to do. Do, schedule, delegate, or delete. Simple, right? Let's break this down. Quadrant 1, do, is for crises and tight deadlines, the stuff you absolutely have to tackle right now. Quadrant 2, schedule, is where the real magic happens. This is for your long-term growth, your big picture planning, building relationships. This is the quadrant of prevention. The more time you spend here, the fewer crises you'll have popping up in Quadrant 1. Then you have Quadrant 3, delegate. These are the interruptions, the things that are urgent to someone else but not really important to your goals. And finally, my personal favorite, Quadrant 4, delete. These are the trivial tasks, the time wasters, just get rid of them. Okay, so the theory is simple enough, but how do we actually put this into practice in our day-to-day lives? Well, this next part is all about turning this cool idea into a real working habit. Applying this is actually a super simple 3-step process. First, you just list everything you have to do. Don't filter, don't organize yet, just do a total brain dump. Step 2, you categorize every single one of those items into one of the 4 boxes. And finally, step 3, you execute. You just follow the rule for each box. That's it. It's that straightforward. And hey, that word delegating, it isn't just some corporate buzzword. It totally applies to your personal life too. It doesn't have to be some huge work project. It can be as simple as asking your partner to mail a package on their way out, or a friend to book that dinner reservation. It's all about strategically freeing up your focus for what really truly matters to you. But okay, what happens when a task lands squarely in that Quadrant 1 do box and it's just huge? It's this massive, overwhelming project. Just being told to do it now doesn't always help, does it? Well, this is where another technique can come in and work perfectly with the Matrix. It's called the Pomodoro technique. The idea couldn't be simpler. You break your work down into these focused 25-minute sprints, and in between each sprint, you take a short 5-minute break. This makes even the biggest, scariest tasks feel manageable. Instead of thinking, I have to write this whole report, your goal becomes, I'm just going to focus on the introduction for 25 minutes. See the difference? And this isn't just some productivity gimmick, you know? There's real science here. A 2011 study by Professor Alejandra Herreras actually proved that taking these short breaks from a task can dramatically boost your ability to stay focused. You're essentially deactivating and then reactivating your goals in these little bursts, which keeps your mind sharp and helps you avoid burning out. So, we've covered the psychology, we've got the tool, and we have the tactics. Now it's time to actually make your first smart move and put all this knowledge to work. So here is your challenge. I want you to take your actual to-do list for today, seriously, right now, and sort every single item on it into those 4 quadrants. You'll see what absolutely has to be done, what needs to go on the calendar, what you can hand off, and, this is the best part, what you can just cross off for good. And that really brings us to the final and most important question. Once you clear away all that urgent but unimportant noise, what truly important goal, that big quadrant 2 thing you've been putting off, will you finally make time for? Because that, right there, is the difference between working hard and working smart.